Welcome to Anytime.
Hello and welcome. This is the Roar broadcast live from lovely Cazenovia College in the bottom of Hubbard Hall. I am your host, Patrick Smith, and with me as always is my co-host, Kevin Ingram.
Yes, I am here again, episode 7, for Holding On Strong.
Oh yeah. So today we got a lot of stuff planned for you. We are touching on every sport that's playing right now in the spring. They are all playing during this next week. We have called this show the Marathon for good reason. So if you want to follow through the full 2 hours, because yes, we have a 2-hour time frame today, if you stay tuned with us, you will hear about every sport that's currently playing. So first, we're going to start off talking about men's lacrosse. And Kev, what do you have for them today?
Ooh, men's lacrosse, we are going to recap their game from last week against Alfred State College, which was a very, very good game for them. And we're going to preview their upcoming game, one that is occurring later on today in the middle of our show, in which they will be playing Mount St. Mary's, which will be their second home game of the season. So if you are in the area, definitely come by our field today and check out our men's lacrosse team that will be playing. And then we'll also be previewing their games at Wells College this upcoming weekend. Very, very entertaining time right now for lacrosse.
Yeah. So then after we're done with that, we're going to move right into softball. So Kev, what do you have for that?
Softball. I'm very excited to talk about softball. I mean, we got softball and baseball we will be talking about today. But I'm excited to talk about softball because they are about to start their season back up following their spring break. And I'll be talking about the game that will be upcoming this week against the University of Scranton. They will also be playing against Skidmore and against Morrisville. And all three of their games coming up are doubleheaders, so this should be really exciting. And we also have a special guest that will be coming in today, so I'm not going to give their name away, but we do have a special guest coming in.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. We have her scheduled to come in around 3:30 today, so stay tuned for that. And then once we get done with interviewing her, we're going to go right into baseball, and that is my section. We are going to preview the next games coming up against Keokuk College and at the Uville. They're both on the road. They're both doubleheaders on the 2nd and the 3rd, which is Saturday and Sunday. And finally, they have their first quote-unquote home game on Monday against Hamilton. I'm not sure where this is going to be played, though. Do you know?
I don't. It's not online yet either, and I haven't heard nothing from the players. So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure as we get closer to the date, we'll find out, because I'm pretty sure a lot of students and family members are going to want to go out for their quote-unquote, like you said, Pat, their first home game.
Yeah. Well, once we figure that out, we will release that information to you guys so we can tell you which field they're on. We have a couple different ideas of where it possibly will be, but we want to get it definite so you guys don't go to the wrong field. And we also have an interview scheduled for the baseball section. We have one of the players coming in, but like Kevin said, we don't want to give away the information too soon. But they are scheduled to come in around 4 o'clock today. So we have 2 interviews right in the middle of the show, kind of break up what we're talking about. And then we're going to go right into women's lacrosse. We're going to recap the game against Hilbert, which happened last week, last Thursday. And then we're also going to preview the next games coming up, which is at SUNY Canton and at Keokuk College, which will be this weekend, and their game on Sunday at Wells College. So we're going to go through all that for them and then move right into equestrian, where we split up this section because there's 2 different teams competing. Hunter Seat is at their regionals at St. Lawrence on the 2nd. So that'll be my section. Then we're going to move over to Kevin. He's going to talk about dressage.
Yes, dressage will be showing at Penn State University the day after Huntsy Regionals, so that will be on April 3rd. So that shall be interesting. This is a very interesting weekend because we have a lot of our teams that are not just like playing simultaneously on the same day, but they're also playing a lot of games back to back. We have a lot of games on April the 2nd and April the 3rd with a lot of these sports teams, and we even have baseball will be going on the 4th. So a lot of these teams are competing in back-to-back events with like no breaks in between. So that shall be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm sure our guest will touch on that.
Oh yeah, and then the last segment we introduced last week is the Paw or Naw segment. So We have a couple things going on this week. We're going to see what Kevin has, what his thoughts are on that. So without further ado, we're going to have our first music break and then get right into men's lacrosse. So stay tuned.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Roar. That was a scenario by good old A Tribe Called Quest. Definitely had to play that because last week, unfortunately, one of their group members passed away. And I love hip hop, and I grew up listening to hip hop, and this was off their first album or second album, The Low End Theory, which was a really good album, very influential in the hip hop world. So definitely had to play that for good old Fife Dog. Rest in peace to you. So now we're going to get into men's lacrosse and recap their game against Alfred State. In the first quarter, it was a complete domination by Casanova. The score at the end of the first quarter was 1-7. Goals were scored by Ben Wilson, Brandon Maxon, Kyle Kingsley scored twice, and Joe Tim scored. Jeff Bain and Eric Hanover scored. Assists were from Joe Tim. Joe Delia assisted on 2 of them, who we mentioned last week, who just recently broke a record. Brandon Maxon assisted twice, and Casey Trejo had an assist for the first quarter. Alfred State one score was by Nicholas Covelli, which was unassisted. So that tells you how the game started off, and it was basically complete domination throughout it all. Second quarter was all Wildcats with no scores from Alfred State. Brandon Maxon scored. Kyle Kingsley was scored twice again. Joe Delia scored unassisted, and Eric Hanover scored. Assists were done by Joe Delia, Eric Hanover, Brandon Maxon, and Jeff Bain, which made the score 12-1 by the end of the first half of the game. So, Pat, already off the bat, our Wildcats come out on the field for this game, and they're just in the zone. Score was 12-1 in the first half. What do you think about that?
That's a great way to start off a game. I mean, to start off 7-1 in the first quarter, that really sets the pace for your whole game. Shout out to Jeff Bain on his first career collegiate goal in that first half. We've won in the second half too. We'll get to that in a minute. But just a great scoring, great start for us.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I remember when we first was previewing them before their season even started, and we were sort of talking about when we have conversation with a lot of the upperclassmen on the lacrosse team and what they think of the freshmen. And, I mean, they gave them a lot of props and said that they were definitely going to be a good addition. They were bringing in fresh new talent. And, I mean, so far they definitely have done that in these past few games with our freshmen scoring their first collegiate goals and having, like, their assist and getting that playing time in. So, definitely congratulations to them. Total domination on the first half was definitely done by Mr. Kyle Kingsley and Joe Delia. And Kyle Kingsley getting 4 goals all in all, and Joe Delia getting a number of assists already off the bat in the first half. So they definitely were playing a good game in the first half.
Just adding to that record he'd already set last week.
Oh, yeah.
Against Joe Delia.
And we're sort of still in the beginning of the season, so, I mean, we still have a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
In the third quarter now, we will get into a majority of it with Alfred State. That's where they had their most impact that they did throughout the whole entire game. Goals were done by Mr. Aaron Buck. He was scored twice in the third quarter. Nathan Cerrillo and Joe Johnson would score. Assists were done by Mr. Joshua Avalez, Mr. Nathan Cerro, and they had 2 unassisted goals. Cavs would score, though, also in the third quarter. Mr. Kyle Kingsley and Eric Hanover would score. Both of their goals were assisted by Mr. Joe Delia, and that brought the game to 5-13, still in favor of Casanova College. Going into the fourth quarter, still all things Wildcat to close out the game. Goals were done by Mr. Ben Wilson, which went unassisted, Brandon Maxon, Chris Hoover, unassisted, Joe Tim, unassisted, and Rob Ted, who's also a freshman, and Kyle Kingsley also scored a goal. So assists were done by Kyle Kingsley in that quarter. Mike Moore would get an assist, and Jeff Bain. So Jeff had a pretty big game for a freshman coming out in the fourth quarter. He had goals and assists for the day. Alfred will only score once, and that was to close out the game in the final minutes with Aaron Buck, which was assisted by Joe Whitmire for them. Final score of that game was 6-2 in favor of Casanova College, making their overall season so far 2-3. Big players of the day for Alfred was Mr. Aaron Buck, with 3 points. And for Casanova College, both Kyle Kingsley and Joe Delia managed to obtain 7 points for the day. Kyle Kingsley dominating the goals made and Joe Delia dominating the assists for the day. Our attacks were in the building and put on a great show for the day. Pat, what do you think?
Well, just to clarify, it was 6-20, not 6-2.
I said 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, oops.
But no, it was a definitely offensive onslaught for us. We definitely were clicking. One of the things we talked about when we were previewing this game was Aaron Buck, who was Alfred's go-to guy. And it seems like we shut him down. So, I mean, that's a testament to our defense.
Yeah, we definitely did shut him down, but I mean, he still had his moments, his spurts in there. So he was definitely in the building. I feel like it was just when it comes to sports games like lacrosse, I mean, it's a team effort at the end of the day. So.
Yeah.
And we definitely had more of the team effort brought that day.
Yeah, and shout out to our defense, Brady Mitchell, Chris Hoover, Casey Daly, and Louis Gracia. Shout out to all of them because they came out and they played tough and really didn't let Alfred get in the game at all. And I think that jump-started our offense.
No, and I mean, that definitely speaks volumes to our defensive line. If they were even able to like get their hand on the ball quite a bit and make good plays for the day. So definitely big shout out to our Wildcats against that Alfred State game. That was a home game, which I unfortunately could not attend. Now to preview for this upcoming game, which will be occurring in just a matter of minutes here in Casanova College. They will be playing Mount St. Mary College, the New York school. And it's a home game today at 4:30. Currently, Mount St. Mary is 7-1 overall for their season. All of their games have been won. That they managed to keep their opponents in the single-digit range while they've achieved double-digit status. It seems to be a very dominant team when you look at their scores online, Pat. And their one loss was to Vassar College, in which that final score of that game was 6-13. They are coming off a loss to Cavs. So how do you think that might play out, Pat?
Well, I think one of the things you got to take into account is they're traveling all the way. I think they're just outside New York City, if I might be mistaken. But that's a long drive on a Tuesday afternoon to come all the way up here to play. So they're going to obviously be tired. They're going to be a little bit shaky coming off that long bus ride. So that's got to play into it. And we're coming off a dominating performance like we just did against Alfred. So we're definitely going to come fired up. I mean, how couldn't you? I mean, playing against your home or playing at home with your home fans, you got to get hyped.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I hope they are hype. I was just in the dorms, Pat, and I have a couple of lacrosse guys on my hallway, and they were playing like a lot of good music and loud music, and they were getting themselves hyped and pumped, and they're ready for game day. So hopefully Mount St. Mary College brings their A game and is prepared.
Yeah, well, one thing I like about them is you always see them on game day. They always dress in the nice shirt and ties, sport jackets. They always dress like they're ready to kick butt, basically. Yeah. They're ready to go out and they're ready to face whoever they play and not take anyone lightly.
Yep, that's right. They're there to handle business. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
And they should today. I mean, this team is good that they're playing, but don't put it past our Wildcats. I mean, look at what we did to Alfred. We get clicking 20 goals is easy to come by.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think I've noticed when looking at the stats from last year, I don't think we've played them. So they're sort of a fresh team on the market. So they're brand new. We're brand new to them. So that's definitely, I think, going to be taken into consideration in today's game. But, I mean, the sun is out. The breeze is good. The weather is right. So, I mean, good day for a game day.
Yeah, if we weren't doing this show right now, we'd definitely be up there watching.
I'd be taking a nap.
An idea that we've kind of been throwing around is the possibility of doing a live event. Today would have been a perfect day for that. So that could be in the works. So stay tuned about that. But
yeah. So they will also be playing Wells College this upcoming weekend on April 2nd. The time is to be determined according to online information. Currently, Wells College is 1-4. All of their losses, they stayed in single digits, with their opponents having strived in double digits. The last time we played them, they were our last game of the season on April 25th, 2015, in which we won 17-7. Big players of that game was Joe Delia with 8 points of the day, and Eric Hanover, Brock Post, and Brandon Maxing having 6 points each for that day. So they're going into the game with that confidence from last year, and heavy hitters still that are playing this week: Joe Delia, Eric Hanover, and Brandon Maxon. But they also have newcomers up and coming, so it should be a good game.
Yeah.
But it'll be away, unfortunately. So.
Mm-hmm. And I know this game's usually the one that they like to circle on their schedule as another one of those cupcake games. Especially coming off a tough game today, I think they're going to look at that one and just be like, okay, let's rebound or let's keep this winning streak going. And that should be a pretty decent win for our Wildcats. But if you are in the Wells area and you want to watch some good lacrosse, I mean, this is your ticket. But like you said, though, we're bringing back a lot of the nucleus we had last year. So, I mean, it's easy to see that we could possibly get that 17-7 score again.
Oh, possibly, or even more. But you can never sleep on a team, Pat, because it's been a whole entire year, almost. It's been a whole entire year, and you never know what they're going to bring. I mean, we're obviously bringing new fire to the pit or whatever of our field, and so,
yeah.
I mean, anything's possible.
And they probably could have rebuilt. We rebuilt. I mean, they're two new teams playing each other. So good point with that. We'll see what happens with that one. I'm interested to see.
I'm into it, so I'm gonna try and watch online on that day.
Yeah.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. We have a special guest that walked into the building early, so we're definitely going to bring her in. She's here, and she's excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
She's also nervous, I think. She just turned really red, but I'm definitely excited to have her in the building, so stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our special guest is ready to finally go down, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name's Taylor Spranger. I'm a psychology major with a sports studies minor, and I play basketball and softball here at Casanova College.
All right, great. So, to start it off, Taylor, why don't you tell us when you started playing softball?
I've been playing softball basically about as long as I can remember. I've grown up watching my parents play softball. My mom played on a summer rec league, and my dad played on a travel softball league with some of his friends, so I got to travel a little bit. Not that I really remember it that much because I was young, but I think that's kind of how I got into it.
Oh, that's great. When you have like a sport background, it's like in your genes, basically.
Definitely.
Play sport. So you mentioned in your introduction that you played two sports. So what is it like to play two sports, and especially softball, because you just came out of season with basketball? So you went from basketball straight into softball. What is it like to transition?
It's actually a lot easier than people would think it is. The coach, especially, it works out better too because my coach for basketball is the same for softball, and he's very understanding with the fact that if I need to miss softball practice because I need to catch up on some work or I just have a lot of work to do, he's very understanding with that. And he knows that basketball really takes a toll on your body, so especially if you just attend softball practice and don't actually participate, just the fact that you're there is great too. And also it works out better for me because I tend to do my schoolwork better when I have less time to do things because then I don't procrastinate.
Yeah, we're all like that.
Yeah.
I'm like that too. I do a bunch of stuff on this campus, and my schedule this semester has like died down a little bit, so I've been a little bit on the lazy slight side. So,
Oh yeah.
but I mean, definitely when you're more busy because you don't have time to really slack, time management is definitely at its strongest. So, how you guys went down south for spring break? Where did you guys go?
We went to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, that's nice. I'm pretty sure it was warm.
Oh,
I actually
yeah.
watched you guys' first game, and I watched you guys get a win. So that was really fun and cool. So what was it like to play down south and then to come back 4-4 to start the season off up north?
Well, besides the first two games, I missed those because I ended up taking a trip to the ER to get some stitches.
Ooh.
It was actually pretty good. We came out with a 4-4 record, like you said, and that's the best that we've done down there. And so that's the best record that we've had coming out of spring break. And I think even though sometimes Coach put some pretty crazy lineups, we learned that we're a pretty versatile team and that no matter what he throws in there for a lineup, we can just kind of work with it and still pull off the wins.
Yeah, those wins are definitely very important when you do that. And I mean, to have you guys versatile also sort of makes you guys deadly, and it helps patch up holes like during different times of the season, just in case players cannot attend games or somehow get an injury in which they have to like miss a couple of games. So I think that's very good and beneficial and smart on coach's part. So what do you think of the freshmen this year so far and their contribution to the team?
I think we have a phenomenal freshman class this year. Um, they, if you watch them play, they don't really play like the typical freshman. They don't have those freshman jitters. They play like they've been on the team for years, and that's really good. They've been contributing a lot. They are helping us defensively because we've recently lost one of our starters, and they're filling that position pretty well. But they've been contributing to the team, and hopefully they will continue to contribute to the team. And it's just really good to have them because they kind of raise the bar for everybody else, and they are there to support everybody, and they're also not afraid to compete with everyone. So that's nice too because you're not just like, oh, they're just freshmen, they're not going to take your spot, but it's making everybody work harder because, especially because they're not in that adjusting phase anymore from high school to college. They know how they have to play, and they're just getting their job done.
That's very good. I like when I hear that freshmen are sort of giving upperclassmen a run for their money in athletics because, I mean, it's always good to raise the bar. And if a freshman can definitely make you, like, give you a run for your money, I think that just shows how powerful the team is and how powerful the team is becoming. So definitely shout outs to our freshmen on the softball team this year.
Yeah.
So right now, today at 4:30, our men's lacrosse team will be playing on our turf. And usually it's just lacrosse, soccer we have that play on our turf. But this year we have a new addition to the turf family, and that is the softball team. So what do you think about that, having to actually, you can finally say that you have a field at your home?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that actually. We traveled to OCC last year to play on their turf fields, and that was actually the first time I've ever played on a turf field for softball. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then when we found out this year that we were going to get to play on the turf field, I was really excited because it's kind of more fun because especially when it gets like rainy out. Because you don't have to worry about like sticking in the dirt when you're sliding. You slide and you don't stop. So which could be bad, but it's fun too.
So overall, do you think that will have a big impact when it comes to home games compared to other schools that have dirt fields?
I think it'll give us a slight advantage over other teams because they're not used to playing on turf. Because nobody else in our conference has a turf field. They all have dirt fields, and it's very different playing on a turf field than it is on a dirt field.
Oh, I mean, it must be sort of nice. Are there like different cleats that you would have to wear then, sort of, or can you still sort of use your regular cleats that you were playing on a dirt field?
On the dirt fields, the majority of us have metal cleats, but we aren't allowed to wear those on the turf, so some of us are getting molded cleats again, and like me personally, I just bought a new pair of turf shoes, but that'll be a fun experience to try new things for softball, I guess.
I mean, that's great. I mean, as long as you guys show up, handle business, and get a win for the day, I mean, that's the most important part. So, what are you looking forward to most this season, being that your record is currently 4-4, and you guys will be starting up full time in a couple of days, actually? So.
Yeah, our first game's tomorrow, actually. But I think we have a pretty solid team this year. This is probably the best softball team that Kaz has had in a while, and we're pretty solid offensively and defensively, which in the past it hasn't been that way. It's either been one or the other. But I think as long as we can continue to keep putting both offense and defense together for the whole game, then we'll be a pretty solid team this year. We should definitely have a great chance at playoffs. So.
Great, and I'm looking forward to watching you guys this game. I was really excited when I heard that you guys um, have a spot now on the turf field. I went up there the other day to watch the women's lacrosse team play, and I sort of saw some of the lines already there in place. So I'm excited to see what it's going to look like and complete it, and you guys actually playing on the field and seeing you guys this season. Because out of all the sports team, I think softball is the only team I've never actually seen play live. Like I've watched you guys a few times online play, but never live. So I think this is
Yeah.
going to be really excited. I know a lot of staff, faculty members around campus, and students are excited because they can finally go to you guys' game and just walk to it. I mean, the walk up to the field is not far and is never usually bad, especially on a nice day.
Yeah.
It's nice to be up there and
It can be quite the hike, though.
yeah, it definitely can be, especially when it's cold. But luckily, this season we haven't been that bad when it comes to snow,
Yeah.
so we should be good. All right, so before we let you go, Taylor, because you're a student athlete and you're a very busy person. Um, last guest I had was Kate Shepard, and I asked her what's her favorite like warm up song to like start off a game. So I'm just gonna ask you, what's your favorite music artist that you have overall?
Oh, gosh. I listen to a variety of music, from pop to country to, I don't know, a lot of things. But I think my favorite artist is probably Demi Lovato.
Why Demi?
I don't know. I just like everything that she stands for. She has an amazing voice.
She definitely does.
She has a huge range.
She definitely is a good musical artist. See, I like when we have guests that come in and, they don't just talk about sports, but they also, bring other contributions into our interview. So I'm really excited about that. But that's great. I'm going to have to play some Demi Lovato then on the air. That's for you, Spranger.
You
That's for
definitely will.
All right. Thank you for coming in, Spranger. I really enjoyed having you.
You're welcome. Thank you for
So
having me.
we're going to take a quick music break, and we're going to finish talking up about softball when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed our wonderful interview with Miss Taylor Spranger. I think she's the first guest that we've had, Pat, that plays two sports, if I'm correct.
I think you might be right
She's
about
she's the first. So look at her setting new boundaries. During the break, though, we were talking to Spranger, and she mentioned how I didn't ask her what her fun fact was because she thought that's what I was going to ask her. And I found out that one of her fun things to do when she's in basketball season is she likes to sleep with her basketball when she's like having a bad game and she didn't do well. And then when she's in softball season, when she's not hitting well, she usually sleeps with her bat, which I think is very
So
interesting.
any fans out there, if you want to get some insight into how a college athlete does things.
Yeah, I mean, they all have their own like little remedies of how they do stuff, how they warm up, how they prepare for an upcoming game, or what they do after the game, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, because it brings the full package around. So for softball, real quick, currently they sit at 4-4 from their spring break season as they start off, and tomorrow, which will be away against the University of Scranton. It's a doubleheader. And then they play Skidmore College, which will be away on April 2nd, 2016, which will also be a doubleheader, followed up by their first home game, which will be against Morrisville State, and that will be on April 3rd, 2016, which will also be a doubleheader. So what do you think, Pat, of them playing two games consecutively, which will be doubleheaders, and having their first home game? What do you think that's going to be like?
Well, definitely they're going to look to that home game because, like we said, playing on our turf is the first time that's ever been done, playing softball on there. So hopefully they don't overlook the first two games, but just talking to Taylor, I don't think that she's looking over them at all.
No, I think they're definitely like looking forward to it. But before they come home, they have to play away. So they have some business to take care of before they can put on a good show in front of us.
Yeah, and these should be tough games. I was looking at some of the stats from last year, and I think they played Skidmore. I don't think they played University of Scranton.
No, I don't think they did either.
So that'll be a new test for us. It'll be their first game back in New York for them, so back in our weather. I mean, they're playing in sunny Myrtle Beach, so I mean it's a little bit different up here. The wind might be whipping a little bit faster, stuff like that. So
it might be cooler. You never know what's gonna happen over here.
Yeah, so it's a decent change from going from two extremes like that. So hopefully we can prepare for that.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, they're excited to do so. So I mean, that's what matters. A lot of time with a lot of these games, as long as you bring the energy and you bring the skill, it should be all in your favor.
And for that Morrisville game, that is the Route 20 rivalry. We've been playing that up with other sports. We don't want to leave softball out. This is another huge rivalry between the two. Morrisville's typically good every year. We're typically good, so it's gonna be a good showdown. So
Yep, and with every new season comes new tricks in the bag. So they're gonna finally get to meet our strong and phenomenal freshmen, as Taylor Spranger put it, this year, who will have obviously been a 9-inning game. So definitely gonna keep an eye out for softball this season and over these next couple of days as they play their doubleheaders against the University of Scranton and Skidmore, and then they finally come home to Cass against Morrisville.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that with playing on the field. We kind of touched a little bit with Taylor about the difference in spikes that they can use, and I just think playing on our turf field is going to be an extra bonus for them because they get to play in front of actual college students that can just walk up to the game and not have to drive 5-10 minutes to watch them play. So that'll be important too from a fan standpoint.
Definitely. So if you are in the area on April 3rd, definitely stop by Chris Staples Field and watch our women's softball team do something for the first time ever, which will be playing on our turf, a home game that they can actually officially say is home in their backyard against Morrisville State, our Route 20 rivalry. So we're going to take a quick break because now our next guest has come into the building and very excited to
I like that they're coming in early. That's a plus for us. We don't have to hunt them down and find them. That they're coming in early, so that's cool.
Because they're all studious. Like, they're all amazing people. They're student athletes. That's what they do.
Yeah, very cool.
Comes with the territory. So we're going to take a quick music break, so stay tuned.
Hey, welcome back, guys. We're back here with our second interview of the day. So can you first introduce yourself to the audience?
My name's Dan Colburn. I'm a senior here at Casanova, and I play baseball.
Okay, so how did your baseball career officially start?
I think it started when I was 4 or 5, playing t-ball in Alien Little League, where I'm from. That's about an hour away here from Cavs. And then I've played ever since then, so about 18 years, I would say.
Did you start and go all the way through with Little League to Babe Ruth, all the way through like that?
Oh, I played Little League until I was like 12 and we graduated Little League. But during that time, I played travel baseball. From the time I was 10 till I was, I think, 16.
Oh, okay.
And then, when I was like 14, I played Legion too. So I played American Legion baseball until my first year in college. So you can play until you're 19.
Okay.
And then I played at Herkimer Community College 2014, and then I transferred here last year.
Okay. So tell us your experience thus far as a Casanova Wildcat.
Let's see, so I got here last year. I played fall ball. It was definitely a different change of pace. Coming from junior college, we were nationally ranked. We went to the World Series. So then coming here was a little bit different. Everything was different. The atmosphere, players, the facilities, everything was a little bit different. So it took a little time to get used to something like that. But so far it's gone pretty well. I can't complain too much.
Yeah.
We've had a decent season last year and look forward to a better one this year.
Okay.
It's not bad. I like the atmosphere that we have going on.
Yeah.
Like
Is it a big difference going from like junior college to that versus going from straight high school to college? You feel you're a little bit more experienced,
definitely,
I guess?
Obviously more mature. I mean, graduate high school, I was 17. Go to play college baseball, 3 months later, and it was a big difference. Just the speed of the game, everything's different. Bigger, faster, stronger. A lot more competition. I had 2 kids off that team get drafted.
Oh, okay.
So that was some high caliber players that I hadn't really necessarily played with before. So it was definitely quite the shock. But I enjoyed my time there, and then enjoying my time here.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how you feel this season's going thus far.
So far, not the greatest start. We spent a week down in Florida, played 10 games, played against pretty good teams. A couple teams are okay. Some games didn't go our way. We should have won a couple that we lost and stuff like that. But overall, I think it was a decent start. Kind of something we expected playing the teams that we were going to face down there. So far, I don't know, really just we're excited to get back out there. We just, tomorrow was our first game home. A lot of schools have already played 10, 15, 20 games, already at home, not to mention their trips. This is going to be our 11th game tomorrow, and first time we've been outside since, Florida. It was 85 degrees out.
Yeah.
About 2.5 weeks ago.
Is there a big change going from playing down in Florida to playing up here?
Definitely is a big change. Last year, it was some 90 degrees when we were in Florida for the whole week, and then we came up here, and we didn't get a game that it wasn't more than 45 degrees for almost a month.
Wow.
We had 3 games where it snowed, a few games that we had one we canceled because of snow against Hamilton. We were playing at OCC, a night game. It was snowing and blowing, and you couldn't even see the ball. They ended up stopping the game because it was been pretty dangerous for us.
Jeez. So how your team's going into conference play? So how do you feel your team's going to prepare for that?
Last year we just missed the playoffs by a game. We were pretty competitive in our conference, and this year I feel like we have a better chance, just more prepared, some stuff like that. But I really think I'm excited to get out there and see what we can do.
Yeah.
I feel that definitely going to be more prepared this year, and are ready to hit it head on.
Okay.
The teams they've been playing, I'm not as familiar with the teams that we're playing as some of the other guys on the team.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they've been
you're
here
new
for
to
4
it.
years.
Yeah.
So, but I got a pretty good grasp on it last year, and definitely feel like we're going to do something.
Yeah. So would you say you're really confident about making playoffs this year?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely confident about that. We just got to get the job done.
Yeah. Take one game at a time.
Yeah, take it one game at a time. Beat the people we need to beat, and battle with some teams, and
Okay.
see what we can do.
So one new thing that the softball team has is a home field right in Casanova. How hard is it not having a home field so close to the college?
It definitely has its difficulties, but for me, it doesn't matter too much to me because I understand, why we don't have it, stuff like that. I feel like the situation we're in now is better than the situation they were in years past. Playing down the road here, the field wasn't very great, and the conditions, weren't the best. So the people who owned it didn't really cooperate, I guess, is the story. So we played some games at the high school who didn't like to cooperate either. So we kind of, had to source it out, and now we're going to play most of the games in between OCC, which is one of the nicest facilities in the state, and then at Duluth in Rome, which for me is like a home field. It's only 25 minutes from my house, but for my travel team, we played there as our home field for 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm really familiar with that area.
Okay.
But the hardest part about not having home field is getting out there every day and practicing. We're kind of stuck in the gym with the batting cages, and then the upper gym to throw in, but the farthest you can throw there is about 100 feet.
Yeah.
So we get out on the turf every once in a while. We can get some time, but that's I think the biggest barrier we have to get by is not being able to practice outside every day, hit on the field every day, take infield, outfield.
Yeah, you don't really get used to it. So where is the Hamilton game going to be played? Is that OCC?
I believe the Hamilton game coming up is going to be at Duluth.
Okay.
In Rome, because I think that's where they play their home games as well.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a home game for us, actually.
Yeah.
Last year we played them twice at OCC, and one of the times they were the home team and we were the home team the other time. So I'm not really sure what we do because we pretty much, I think they're in the same situation we are
with not having a field.
Yeah, with not having a field.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
That makes sense. Sure. Okay. So what does the future look like for you? You give us a little bit of hint into that.
For me, I'm getting ready to graduate here the next month or so. After that, I'm not super sure what I'm going to do, but I do still have a year of eligibility. So if I decide to go to grad school, I can definitely play there.
Okay.
Definitely has crossed my mind for sure, and in the next few weeks I'll be deciding if I want to or not. I have applied to a couple of different schools, so
okay.
See what program I go into. But
yeah, well, we hope for the best.
For right now, just looking to have a good season this year and graduate and move on.
Win that championship?
Yeah.
Okay. So we personally at the Roar want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and speak on our radio show here. We like to give the fans some idea of what goes through a player's mind from each different sport, and baseball was on tap for today. So thank you. We're going to get back into baseball right after a short music break, so stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back, guys. That was a great interview.
Yeah, those were fun. Having softball and baseball come in. I was really looking forward to having them come in this season. Once this season started to pick up, I was really anxious because I know a lot of, especially the baseball team. I know a lot of them. So I was definitely excited to get them to come in and speak. And they both seemed to enjoy it when they left. We talked to them a lot during our breaks, our music breaks.
Yeah, and they seemed to really enjoy it, and they. We told them to get some more of their team down here and reach out to some more softball and baseball because they're fun interviews. I mean, they're down to earth people just like us, and so that was very cool. I like that interview.
Yeah, they were both fun.
So now as we get back into baseball, they are, like we said, 3-7 overall record. They played all their games down in Florida, their spring training. They had a .300 winning percentage so far. But now they're starting to play back in New York, back in our neck of the woods. They play their first game back at Keuka, and this is a doubleheader set for April 2nd. Last time they played, it was a doubleheader sweep by us. Chris Shad and Tom DeBernitis. Tom recently graduated. They both pitched 6+ innings and gave up limited runs, small hits. I mean, they both pitched really well in their games. Dan Colburn, the guy we just had in here, he went 2 for 2 in the first game with a triple and 2 RBIs. Ryan Meyer went 2 for 3 and 1 RBI in the second game and 1 double and 2 RBIs in the first. And then Dan Crozier and Taylor Inc. Went 2 for 2 and 2 for 3 respectively, and each had an RBI in the second game. So some of the storylines we want to touch on is, can our pitching shut down Cuba's offense? They're having decent year this year hitting the ball. 2 guys in particular, McDermott and Daly, are leading them in the offensive end. So Kev, do you think our pitching? I'm not sure who is actually starting pitching for this game.
No,
but
a big surprise. I thought with baseball is often sometimes a big surprise.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be pitching or starting up? Because you gotta remember, there's also a doubleheader. So it depends on what you want to do with both games or whatever. But I don't know who they're pitching. But I think that they've had a pretty good break. They've been resting and practicing simultaneously. So, I mean, they're looking forward to it. I know that for sure. But
yeah.
Can we shut it down? It's sort of tough to say because I'm still getting used to watching our pitchers pitch and watching them in games and stuff. So, I don't know. Keuka is a pretty big rival to us. I mean, Morrisville is definitely our number 1 rival, but
they're a close second.
Yeah, they're definitely a close second. So we'll definitely be looking forward to it.
Yeah, and one of their decent pitchers is Mashoud. And do you think that our batters can start cranking on them? We've seen them, what they can do when they start lighting it up. Do you think a batter like, say, Dan that came in today, can they get after it and start really cranking on this pitcher?
Yeah, and I think that's the best part about our baseball team. Once they start to feel it, they keep the energy with them in the dugout and they take it onto the field. But they definitely can crank it. I've noticed with a lot of pitchers, not just ours, but once they start having a few little mishaps and stuff, it really starts to get to pitchers the most out of all the games. It's hard for them because it's a confidence thing. You're in the middle of the field. You're standing higher, so everybody definitely sees you and they're watching what you're doing. And once even if you're not making mistakes, it just so happens, the opposing team starts to connect. It starts to take a big toll on pitchers mostly, and we can definitely do that. I've seen it done. It's possible.
Yeah.
And we have pretty good freshmen so far.
Yeah, and I mean, our freshmen are playing well, but some of these upperclassmen, like we talked about, Meyer and Inc. and Crozier, they all can bat. They all can hit the ball, to the outfield and make extra base hits. Yeah,
they definitely can.
So, I mean, if they start, actually connecting and start getting, like you said, the confidence for him, for their pitcher, we can get on a roll here and start, bringing together a couple hits and just start tying them together. String a couple hits along and make a decent offensive game out of it.
Yeah, definitely we can.
So then after this game, they play at Duville, which I believe is 1 second. It's a doubleheader, but it is. It's on the 3rd. And they haven't played each other. Sorry, I was underneath where I was looking. They haven't played each other in the last 2 years. I was trying to go back and look up stats from previous time playing each other, but they haven't played in recent memory. But Duville is 0-9 this season so far. And looking at their records against certain teams, if they start falling behind, they just give up. So I think, especially in this game, if our bats, like we said with Cuca, if they start hitting, I think this is going to be a big game. And I kind of called it Blowout City for this game, especially just because you don't know what can happen, especially with an 0-9 team.
Yeah,
I mean,
you definitely, you never know, but it seems that they seem to crumble pretty quickly. So, and that's a very bad characteristic of a team overall, especially in baseball. So, I mean, according to the record, I mean, they're 0-9 so far. So, I mean, our Wildcats could possibly turn it up a notch. I think sometimes it also depends on the game that they're coming off of. So, they'll be coming off of playing from Cuca and into the Deweyville game. So, that will be very interesting to see what happens.
yeah, especially being right immediately afterwards, like you said. Do you think there's going to be a lot of letdown from that? Do you think the tiredness of the doubleheader is going to affect them?
No, because a lot of our players are used to playing like that, and they'll just go in swinging and they'll go with it. They never really deteriorate when it comes to playing doubleheaders because that's what they expect and that's what they know what to do and how to play. So no, I don't think it'll be any deterioration, but they'll definitely have to make sure that with the time that they have, the free time that they have, that they definitely catch up on sleep and stuff like that and good eats to go into these games, because you definitely do need that energy to go to any game, no matter what your opposing team scores.
Or what sport.
Yeah, or any sport. Whether they're coming off of laws, whether they're not having a good season, you always want to come in hot and ready to play and to handle business. You want to come bringing 110%, or with the mindset that your opposing team is going to come and bring 110%.
Yeah. So then, as we wrap up their games for the upcoming week, like you said, they play their first home game of the season on Monday, April 4th. This is versus Hamilton. This will be played, like Dan said, on the Rome field, I think he said.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you guys are around that area and want to come out and watch the Cavs Wildcats, feel free for that. The last time they played was last year. It was a 6-4 loss for Cavs. The pitcher for that day was Jake Hill. He recently transferred away. He pitched for 5 innings, gave up 5 runs off 7 hits, and not a lot of offensive production out of our Wildcats, except for Dan Hodney, who recently graduated. He went 3 for 4 with a double and an RBI. But one of the storylines is Hamilton is 9-5 so far this season, so a decent flip from the Duville, who was 0-9 on the season. And they have a decent duo up front that can really hit the ball in Melee and Wolfsburg. Can our defense and our pitching really stop these two and not get them even started on the day?
No, you know what? I'm just gonna say with this game, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a good showdown. This is a nice matchup. It looks like they'll be going in fair and fair. Our Wildcats definitely have that motivation behind them, and Hamilton obviously has the record that is with them that they'll be bringing into the game. So this game can go either way. I think compared to the few games that they will be playing prior to, this one can go either way.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have 2 easy games. Looks like for Cavs, and then 1 hard one, like we said. But I mean, this is the first home game for them, so they're gonna be pumped because it's in front of your home fan. And we talked about this with any sport, that whatever sport you're playing, once you play that first game against your home fans, you're automatically juiced up. You're ready to go. And you're ready to play anyone that rolls into your parking lot.
Yeah,
so
but you also have to keep in mind their home field is in Rome. and not so much Cavs.
But
So that's like it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tricky.
it is gonna be tricky. You're right with this.
Yeah, and it's also on a Monday at that, so you have to keep in consideration
Yeah.
people do have classes, capstones, and other life stuff that they will be handling. I know
Mhm.
Mondays are sometimes busy for me overall between classes and other curricular activities.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Those games will be tough, especially considered for a home game. But I'm definitely looking forward to their first home game on a weekend because students are a little bit more open to it because weekends, you want to take those little breaks and step away from work so your brain can get a nice rest going into the following week. So
Yeah, and hopefully those weekend games will be at OCC, which is a little closer than, say, Rome, to go and watch our Wildcats play. I know, Kev, you said you've been out to a lot of games. I personally haven't been to any. Are they fun to go watch as a fan?
They're pretty fun. I enjoy going. I mean, I know a lot of people on the team, so that's what makes it exciting. I often go with a lot of the students from here from Cass that end up going and supporting them that are really close friends with people on the baseball team. But it's definitely exciting. It just sometimes can be really long, especially when they're playing double headers. And it depends on how those games are going. But as long as I can see the score and can sort of tell where they're at, it's usually pretty fun and exciting. And the way I cheer, I usually embarrass some of them. So, I mean, that's the best
It's not
part.
a bad thing.
No, it's a good thing. Because when you go to game, the whole point is to, like, cheer.
Yeah, to
and
have
stuff
fun.
Like that.
You're there supporting your friends, most
Yeah.
likely. You've seen them.
Win or lose, I support my friends.
So yeah, for these games, I mean, I'll try to make it out as much as I can. But you have a fan in Kevin that's going to be there for most every game. He is the baseball guru. So for that's pretty much all we have for baseball. We have a couple games coming up, but we're going to have a short break and then get into women's lacrosse, so stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back. We are here talking about women's lacrosse, but before we do, a special shout out to all of our fans in Syracuse, because congrats on both the men's and women's teams for making the Final Four for basketball, so props to them.
Definitely. And we definitely want to give a shout out to our two guests that came in today, Taylor Spranger and Dan Colburn. I played a couple of songs for them. For Spranger, I played Stars by Demi Lovato, who was one of her favorite artists. And for Colburn, he was a little bit of a challenge to come up with a song for, but I quickly put together Heart Not Life by Jay-Z, because knowing Colburn off the field and just like in the dorms and stuff and around campus, that's just like his personality. Like for some strange reason, I feel like that song fits him. And also Barbie Girl, because for some strange reason, that's what he wanted.
Yeah,
Aqua,
I mean, we don't judge. So talking about women's lacrosse, so far they're 2-3 on the season with a .400 winning percentage. They recently played a game against Hilbert. This was last Thursday, and this Kev was a blowout by any means. We actually both were there at the game, and we saw our Casanova Wildcats dominate the game. Madeline Brand and Hannah Delaware each had 3 goals. Patricia Breen and Kate Shepard each had 2 goals, 1 assist. Deja Wernz had 2 goals. Gianna Dixie had 1 goal, 3 assists. Amaris Woodson and Alex Welch had 1 goal, 1 assist. And then Lauren G., Kelsey Farrell, and Mackenzie Brissett each had 1 goal apiece. And Abigail Courts, who was our goalie, really didn't see that much action, but she did make 4 saves on 7 shots.
Oh, so she saw a lot of action in sort of.
Well, kind of.
She was pretty chill. Because, like, none of that was, like, consecutive. It was, like, really sporadic throughout the game.
Yeah.
But she really didn't see that much action.
I think she sat down and relaxed for the first half. This was a blowout. I mean, that's basically all you can say about it. Hilbert was led by Nikki Schneider, who had 2 goals, so, I mean, she contributed. But other than that, there was not much offense for Hilbert. It was 12-0 at the half and 3-0 in the first 5 minutes. So that just shows how we just came out and just rocked them right from the start.
Well, I mean, they told us going into this game that they were going for the win. And that's what they were looking for. And they wasn't looking for nothing else. So that definitely played into a strong part of this game going in. Because they were excited. I mean, it was the first home game. The weather was actually really nice that day and comfortable. And so, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
And the big storylines were it was 39-8 shots on goal. So the other goalie got a lot of action where Abby really didn't see that much. And we won 15-8 in draw controls. The difference with this is men's lacrosse uses a face-off system where the ball is placed between two attackers from each team, and they basically fight over to see who gets the ball right off the bat. The difference is for this is called a draw control, where they basically toss the ball up in the air, and it's like basketball. The first one to tip it and catch it can go with it. So it's a little bit of a difference, but we definitely dominated in that regard. And that basically controlled our offense, because if we get the ball first, we go right into the offensive end and are in a scoring opportunity. So what do you think about this game so far, Kev?
I think it was a really good game, and yes, that is I think a very unique aspect to women's lacrosse is the whole toss up and whoever gets it. I mean, it's really nice because it's sort of played fair. It's just I don't know. It's interesting because when you look at it, you probably think, oh, this is like basketball in a weird way, but lacrosse is nothing like basketball. So,
but I mean, in that regard, it kind of is because I mean they're tossing up to the middle, and the first one to reach up and get it is getting the ball first. So I mean, there's kind of some parallels there. But the women's game is a lot different than men's. Instead of playing quarters, they play halves. There's certain things like that that's a little bit different. But this was a blowout. This was a thrashing by our Wildcats. That's pretty much all we can talk about with this game. It was an easy win on the schedule. It was one of those cupcake games. But it sets up this weekend because we got a couple good games. They play at SUNY Canton on Wednesday, actually. Last time they played, it was a 21-4 loss for the Wildcats. So we're looking definitely for a revenge game in this one. And, I mean, coming off the game they just played, they got to be still with that momentum. And I think Canton's going to overlook us a little bit. What do you think about that?
Oh, you really think they're going to overlook us?
I mean, if I was in their shoes coming into something like this, like, think of how we would feel if we played Hilbert next week and we just beat them 18-3. Wouldn't you say, well, I mean, we kind of dominated them from opening draw control to the end. I mean, wouldn't you kind of say, well, let's see what the game after that is. Let's kind of prepare for that game.
No.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel
So you're saying that they should have focused a little bit more on the upcoming game rather than when they played Hilbert?
What I'm saying is what Canton might do is look past the Casanova game because they beat us 21-4.
Oh.
And I mean, we might use that to our advantage because they're not going to play up to the level they're capable of playing.
No, probably not. And then, they've had their changes too. I'm pretty sure they lost a couple of seniors on their team, so that's definitely going to come into handy. And our female Wildcats, they just missed, I think, the champion playoff by one game last year. So, I mean, they're definitely looking forward to it. They're almost in the same boat as baseball, where they were just one game shy of
very
making
close.
the cut. So I'm pretty sure they're definitely looking forward to doing that this year. And if SUNY Canton overlooks us, I mean, I hope they pay attention real soon. Because that will definitely come in to, get them in the end.
Very true. Do you think our offense will be able to click like it did the other game against this SUNY Canton team?
Oh, yeah. Our offense clicked very well. I know the female on the offensive side, they know each other pretty well. Some of them went to, I think, two of them might have went to the same school.
I think so.
So they sort of have that knowledge of how each other works. And with the new technique that they've introduced with players playing different positions, I think that might also come into play too. Because they might move Coach Milmo might move some players around to sort of shake up SUNY Canton a little bit. So our offense can definitely do it. I think it's a matter of what our defense will do. Because 21-4 loss last year, a lot of shots was obviously made on us from last year. So, I think our offense can hold it together really well.
Yeah, the real story is can our defense hold up? I mean, they gave up 21 goals last year.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully we're optimistic with this game. We're hoping that they overlook us and we come in and steal one from them.
Yeah, unfortunately our defensive line, they didn't do much last game because obviously we were very dominant on the offensive side. So we didn't get to watch the defensive line sort of more in action. I know a lot of them were just sort of standing around waiting for a play or waiting for the ball to come in a direction, and it just never did because it was too busy in the goalie's net.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
I mean, this is definitely a game our defensive line will get some action. Will not
Definitely.
be as laid back, and hopefully Abby Colts will be on her P's and Q's for that game too.
Mm-hmm. So then, as we go into the next game, they play at Keuka College, April 2nd. Last time they played, it was a 13-8 loss for our Wildcats. We were led by Abby Webster and Mackenzie Brissett, who each had 2 goals. Keuka's Casey McGuire had 5 goals. So do you think that we can overcome this loss, kind of like what we're doing with SUNY Canton? Do you think we can go into Keuka and steal one from them, too?
Cuba is a very interesting team because I've had some very nice sit downs with the Cuba fans that have come to some of our games, and Cuba is definitely a very dominant game. They are really good, but never sleep on our Wildcats because our Wildcats, especially our women's lacrosse team, they play all the way until that clock is done for.
Yeah.
So that's a very good characteristic from our team, and our team can definitely do it. They're hot right now. They're excited. They're pumped, and depending on how they come off for their game against Canton, will definitely determine how they sort of go into Cuca.
Yeah.
But I think they're pretty fine for right now. Speaking.
Okay.
Going into those games.
And the one thing that's important to note for Keuka is they're coming in with a freshman goalkeeper. And, I mean, this most likely will be probably her first conference game against us.
Oh.
So
she gets to meet Caitlin Shepard.
Mm-hmm. She's going to get face-to-face with our attackman on this team that can really score, yeah.
Yeah, she can meet Caitlin and Deja.
Mm-hmm.
You never know which one.
We'll have a nice little welcome party for them. Welcome to NEAX kind of thing.
That's interesting. A freshman goalie. See,
Mm-hmm.
It's always tough when you add in a freshman goalie.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they put her in that spot, so she's obviously doing something correct. And, I mean, she's probably the top goalie for their team.
I mean, we shouldn't take her lightly, but
No,
that's
not.
an Achilles heel of a good defense. You know, if you have a bad goalie,
Mm-hmm.
we sneak one by, if it's tied or something, we just happen to sneak one in. That's a game changer.
Because the last line of defense in the all-sport is those goalies.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets past everybody, you're expected to stop the ball or to do something with it and not let it go into the net. So, but good luck to this freshman. I can't wait to sort of watch the game. I'm most likely going to try and watch it online on Saturday.
Yeah, and then following that, they play Sunday against Wells College. This was a win for us last time out. Deja Wernz had 6 goals on the day, and Patricia Breen had 3. So what do you think about this game, kind of to finish up for them?
Oh, that's interesting. Caitlin Shepard doesn't pop up one year. Or Abby Webster for
Yeah.
the last game.
Yeah, I didn't.
I mean, that might play a part into it.
Maybe they had off games, those games.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they've been doing well so far, so, I mean, these should be good games for us. This game especially should be one, if we don't go the way we want against Keuka or Canton, this could be a game to kind of save us and, come back and end with a win kind of thing. And the weekend off the way we want.
Yeah, that's the nice way to definitely end off a long weekend, which is what they're going to have, is to come back with a win always.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always, I think it feels really good. I don't know because I'm not a current athlete, but I feel like it's always really good to get a win in somebody else's house.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In a way, but I also feel like it's also really good to do it at home because you have the crowd in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
So a win is a win, whether you win by a second or 1 point. That's all that matters. So
Yeah,
I think definitely
doesn't matter what the score is.
Yeah, to come back with a win, I think is definitely what they'll be looking for anything.
Yeah.
Depending on how that weekend goes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And what's interesting is the men play Wells on Saturday, the women play on Sunday. They should both be pretty easy games for us so we can get the series sweep of Wells. So that'd be cool to go both days, win both games to end the weekend. So now we're going to have another short break and then finish up with equestrian on this marathon episode. We hope that you guys are sticking with us right now. We are close to wrapping up here. So stay tuned if you want to hear about your favorite equestrian team. Okay, so welcome back.
Don't you see what I did there?
What?
I've been playing some nice hip-hop, R&B.
I know, I like it.
Yeah, I know.
The new style here. Well, we played a little bit of country today. We're getting all the aspects of music.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And then we'll just get the Jackson 5, Jackson, whatever you call them, next time. So now as we go into equestrian, it's It's a little inside joke between myself and Kevin.
Oh my God.
So now as we look at equestrian, Hunter C, they are in regional qualifiers. We talked about that a little last week at St. Lawrence. So we'll go through the people who are competing in that. Gabby Baker is on for intermediate fences. Haley Bell for open flat. Jesse Berman is in for novice flat. Kirsten Duggleby for intermediate flats and fences. Erica Ferreira with intermediate fences. Tori Graham and Melissa Lavicott for walk, trot, canter. Savannah Maines for open flat fences. And Lizzie Neighbor for novice fences. Followed up with Renee Sandwich for novice flat. Shannon Walsh also for walk, trot, canter. And Kristen Wasoja for novice fences. So, Kevin, what do you have for dressage for equestrian? Do you have anything to add for them?
No, they're competing this upcoming Sunday.
Yeah, it's hard to find stuff for
It's
our
so
equestrian.
hard to find stuff. Like, all I have is their roster, and I don't know what position or team that they are playing.
Yeah. So we apologize. We need to have some people come in that actually know the sport and can give us this information because we
Or just put it online or
Yeah.
our wonderful athletic department. Because, I mean, we have everybody else's that you know
Mhm.
what team position that they're playing, whether it's shortstop, outfield, like you pitching. Like, we know basically what
Yeah.
everybody position, basketball.
This one's just
softball.
hard to
This
do.
one is just difficult. I don't know. I just.
Yeah.
Good luck to them.
Yeah.
I mean, good luck to them. I mean, our question department is very strong, so they're definitely not a team to sleep on. Whether it's hunting, dressage, or the last one is walk trot,
Western.
Western.
Yeah.
Oops,
Western's the one that Dylan does.
I thought he did hunting.
He's Western. Yep.
Now I'm slightly confused. Why can I see Dylan in the hallway? I'm just gonna have to have a little chit chat.
Yeah. It's just the way I look at it is it's just a different style of riding. So like Hunt Seat is more of the old like English version, where like Western's a type of thing that has like a saddle and has like reins and all that stuff. So I mean that's pretty much that's how I look at it because one is basically like the old English, you know, the proper stand up. The other one's more of like the cowboys back in the Wild West and stuff like that. That's how I look at it a little bit. But we had Haley Bell on last week. We've had Dylan in the past. How do you think that they will do this week?
I think they're going to do perfectly fine. They're both seniors. They're very good competitors. They will be playing away. They won't be here, so I'm pretty sure they'll be used to whatever horse that they jump on. And Dylan seems to definitely always make it work, and so does Haley. They enjoy playing their sport and being a part of it. So I think that goes a long way with them competing this upcoming weekend. So I think they're gonna do fine. But I think it's gonna be pretty tricky. I feel like it definitely has to be tricky some way somehow, no matter how much experience you get when you're going to somebody else's barn and riding their horses.
Yeah.
No matter whether you've been doing it for all 4 years.
Yeah,
or
you've
whether
never
you're
been on
new
that
to it.
horse.
Yeah, it's always different when you're not riding your own personal horse, who you know and who they know. But I mean, I know speaking to a lot of people that are part of the equestrian department, they're definitely excited for Dylan's recent accomplishment. So I'm pretty sure each department is going in with high energy, no matter what department. Because they have a wildcat, very strong wildcat, Dylan Dombrowski, who is sort of leading them in a way. So.
Yep. So good luck to all of you guys competing this weekend. So now. We were thinking about doing a music break, but I kind of want to just get right into it. So now here's the Paw or Gnaw segment. So kind of for those of you who weren't listening last week, this segment is basically an interested versus non-interested. This is where we get Kevin's input as to whether he's really interested in the events going on campus. And we like to bring in the Campus Activity Board, which is, we say just CAB. They have a lot of neat events that take place on this campus that they get tons of people to come out to every time they have something. So the first one they have in store is bingo, which is at 9 p.m. on Saturday. So which way are you leaning in this?
I'm going to say Paul, because you can never go wrong with bingo. Like, you get to, like, scream, and it gets really intense, though, for bingo. in our dining hall, in our wonderful dining hall. And the prizes are always pretty cool and amazing. I've won once, and I won right before St. Patrick's Day, so I had like a lot of green stuff. But their gifts are always really good. I think this one, they've been promoting a Visa gift card, a lot of different gift cards, and of course, a bunch of prizes that we don't know, which will definitely probably be showing up. I know they often have like snack bins, which every college student probably loves.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a snack bin.
Can't go wrong with a snack bin. So they have always cool prizes and stuff. So it gets really intense and stuff. And I know a lot of students always turn out. I think this is probably their second biggest event that they have on campus.
I think so.
Compared to karaoke night, which we do once each semester. So
yeah,
bingo is always fun and exciting, and everybody seems to always turn out to it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Can't go wrong for the bingo.
True. And then we kind of touched on this last week, but the orientation advisor signups are coming out, and
a lot of people are excited
for
it.
And we know that you, because you're an RA, next year that you can't participate in this. But do you think this is definitely something that people should be interested in?
Why you gotta throw the title out on air?
Hey, we like to give credit where credit is due, and in this case, we want to give you credit for keeping the job for next year and being an RA, because our campus needs those. We need really good RAs. So, do you think this is more of a paw or a nah for an orientation advisor for someone?
Definitely a paw, especially when it comes to leadership, when it comes to advising and having and welcoming our freshmen. Because in either grade, because you can be a sophomore or a junior or even a senior.
Yeah.
Become an orientation advisor, and it's always a lot of fun. I've got to experience it more or less when I became an RA because I was here, so I was here with them, and it was a lot of fun. They enjoyed running around and gathering freshmen and participating in some of the activities and hosting and setting up. So it's a lot of fun, very competitive, and when you do that, like that week when freshmen are just here and it's just RAs and orientation advisor, you sort of get a slight feel of what's it like to sort of be on campus. We don't do a bunch of events always on the quad because the way our seasons are set up, but it's always a lot of fun, great turnouts, good food. Yeah. We get the trucks that come. I think they had grilled PB&J and pizza one night. So it's definitely fun, something to turn out to, and you can always just throw it on your resume. It always looks good.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you do outside of your normal stuff. I mean,
and always come with ideas too. I mean, Red's Life, who definitely who leads orientation advisor, if I'm correct, they're always open to new ideas, how to make it more fun and entertaining for students in this day and age.
Yeah, because we're always changing here. I mean, the students are always getting younger, so there's always a new influx of students. So then, to go back to our sports, we have 2 games that are coming up soon. We have men's lacrosse.
That's today.
Oh yeah, it's currently going on right now. You're right. And I haven't gotten any texts, any things yet about the score, but it did start at 4:30 today. So this is kind of a little overdue, but do you think this was a paw or not to go to this
Definitely
event?
A paw because it's a home game and the weather is nice out today. So, I mean, if I wasn't here at the radio station, I probably would definitely be up there to watch them play. They're very excited. Like I said, they were already sort of becoming very hyped prior to me coming on the air before they went up to the field. So definitely, this is definitely a paw. It's always great to come out for fellow Wildcats, students and friends, and show out if you can.
Yeah, you might as well. So what about the softball then? That one is coming up. I do have that one right.
Softball is definitely a paw because this will be the first time they'll be playing at home, and we get a Route 20 rivalry simultaneously. So it's sort of like a 2-for-1 special.
Pretty much, buy one get one free.
Yeah, buy one get one free. You're not buying nothing, perhaps.
Oh. Anyways, yeah, like we talked about, the Route 20 rivalry is always important no matter what the sport is. So, I mean, even softball is still one that you should definitely go out and see. We're definitely hyping this game a lot more than other games just because it's the first time since I can remember that we have had softball on our actual campus. And they have the lines drawn on the field. They have everything ready. They're just as excited as we are, and we want to pack the stands for that because it is our first game we're excited for. So now, as we start to get into the closing, because it is nearing 5 o'clock here. We want to do a segment that we've always done in the past, that we started ever since the beginning, and we'll let Kevin get set up over here. He's messing with his cords. Anyways,
I'm sort of trying to watch the game simultaneously. The game is up, and the current score is 2-2. Both teams are tied, and they're turning the camera, and it's about 6:10 left on the clock. So
okay. So yeah,
just started. It's fresh.
Yep.
Pretty exciting.
So now, once Kevin
30
gets
seconds.
back set up, here is Kevin's 30 seconds of airtime where he can talk about anything he wants. We try to contain him the best we can, but here we go.
Yeah. I did a fun program the other day,
Here we go.
and what you call it? It was fried Oreos. You should have came, Pat.
Yeah.
I forgot to actually. I really didn't actually do no promos for this one. This is the first time. That's sort of a no-no.
Did you get a good turnout?
Yeah, I had 83 people come
Dang.
out for it. This is my second time doing this program, so I was really excited for it. It was
Yeah.
fried Oreos. First time I did it, I had, I want to say 61 or 67 total
Jeez.
people. And then this time around, I had 83.
Well, that's pretty close because I usually round about 100, but I mean, 60 and 80, I mean, it's not bad, so good job for you.
You round out about 100?
Yeah, I round up
Yeah.
by about 30
Really
or
high.
40 or 50.
Really high.
So, anyways.
I'm pretty sure. I'm about to say, my building's bigger than yours, so I'm pretty sure.
It doesn't matter. I'm a better salesman than you are. But anyways, back to your thing. Let's not get off track.
What? How you are not a better salesman than me. This is a very successful. You don't understand the emotions that occur whenever I do my fried Oreos program. Because when I did it the first time, I didn't know. Don't be jealous. I didn't know that it was just gonna be such a big turnout the first time I did it. So I actually ended up running out of, I think, oil. I think is what I ran out of the first time I did it. So this time when I did it, I prepared for more people. And
So what do
make
you
sure
do with the Oreos? It's just a little bat of oil that you.
Oh, what you gonna do? Burn the place down?
Well, how do you fry them then? Or do they
what
come
I
like
do-
that?
No, you cook it. What you do, you basically take pancake mix and you like create the pancake mix, and then you take the Oreo, you dip it in there, and then you throw it into the pot or whatever with the oil in there, and you just fry it, and then you turn it until it's like nice and brown, and you take it out. It's like really sweet.
Yeah, you should have invited me over. I would love to try one.
Really unhealthy. It's really sweet.
We see that when we're not on the roar, we don't really have that much connection. I mean, you would think, being the co-host, that he would reach out to his host and say, "Hey, do you want Oreos?" But I guess that's a luxury that I just am not accustomed to.
It's a show thing. You don't understand. Show people become very defensive of their good program.
All right, so we're gonna get back here. We want to thank all of the listeners out there.
This is fun today. I don't get to bother you so much on the air because I'm usually trying to be professional.
Okay, so we want to thank all of the listeners for coming on, listening to us.
How many people
Give.
you have come out for your last program?
I can't tell you on the air.
It's very funny because Pat actually is the one that sort of prepped me for me to get into my position. So
Yeah,
that's why
remember
I'm
that.
bothering him so much.
Remember
about
that.
it. So like I shadowed him and then I got accepted and now we're both in the same position.
For any Star Wars fans out there, it's basically like a Jedi and a Padawan. It's basically what it is.
You are Star Wars?
Oh yeah, I'm a definitely Star Wars geek. But anyways, we want to wrap up the show. Thank all you guys for listening for the full 2 hours. If you stayed the full 2 hours, we thank you. If you came and went, we kind of thank you. We want you to stay the full time, but we do thank you for that. We do have the Twitter page up, so if you want to tweet at us asking for anything you want to see us talk about, any music requests, anything like that, just tweet at us, and we will make sure to get your thoughts and ideas heard. We are also we're thinking about putting up another Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, definitely.
We did it last week, and Caitlin Shepard ended up being our winner. She recorded a lot of votes, so props to her.
That was fun.
So
it was very entertaining.
Yeah, so we're going to try that again with some of the people that did really well. This week we didn't really have that much, but we do have enough to fill that out. And we also, this podcast you can listen to live on YouTube. This will be up in a couple days. We are also live on the TuneIn.com or the TuneIn app, so if you ever want to listen to us live and you're not in your car or near radio, you can listen that way. And we will also be dropping hints as to who we will have next week's show, also on Twitter, so stay tuned for that. So Kevin, any last little bits you want to talk about before we end the show?
I'm excited for this upcoming week, sort of where all things works.
Yeah, we have a lot to do.
We do have a lot to do.
Yep. So we want to say good luck to all of our teams, and especially to our equestrian who are competing at qualifiers. We hope the best for you guys. We want to see you keep going to make nationals like Dylan Dabrowski did. So without further ado, we're going on a 7-day break.